Hey guys, what is going on? RedMaster here, and welcome back to another Cars and Castles video. Today we are going to be going over that little new notification in the news post, seeing as how just this morning a patch was released into the general public, addressing the issue that is known as monsters. Now whether this patch helped or not is still up for determination. Some people could say yes, some people could say hell no. But we're going to take a look into it right now. So hey everyone, due to community feedback, we just deployed a patch with the following changes. Alright. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I guess 7 card changes plus a little extra in the bottom there, and we'll get to that. But for now, let's hit the first one, that one being Sunflower. Now Sunflower, of course, was this card that everyone was like, why the hell did it need to be in the monster support? It didn't need it, and it just further elevated monsters into like this zone of dominance, I could say that. But anyway, Sunflower being hit really hard, actually being completely changed, nowhere near the monsters. Changed to a 2 gold, 1/5, 2 move unit, so that's pretty good. There's no more dramatic entrance, however the 2 move is sort of like and of course a last will of exploding for 4 damage, so quadruple what you get out of a manfish explosion. The Sunflower will do 4. Now about this, I think it's good that you get it out of monsters, get it away from monsters. They don't need that support. But however, why does it need 2 movement? I guess because you're dealing with an exploding for 4 damage, you need that sort of slower unit to prevent 3 movement dark fire bombs on the castle, which can do about 9 damage. And granted, we are going to probably see that with some Sunflowers. It's certainly possible. But an issue I kind of see here is you're making another 2 movement, meaning that the last will archetype is going to be extremely slow. Is that how it's supposed to go? Because you have a majority of the units that use last will have 2 movement. And if you're trying to boost an archetype, you need some 3 movement in there to make it somewhat more appealing. Now Sunflower doesn't have to be the one, but Banshee maybe. Can we make that a 3 movement? Because it's a 4/4. You can counter it with a maybe a thief, block it, and then use something else to remove it. I don't know. But just you need some 3 movement in last will. That's all I'm going to say here. But otherwise, Sunflower is a pretty good change, getting it out of monsters entirely and just making it a last will support unit, which I think is the archetype that they want to push. Sal Avoid You now getting a buff of a cost reduction increased to 7. So no longer will Sal Avoid You reduce 5, it reduces 7. Now this is something that I think is part of a bigger plan to contain monsters. I don't think they're trying to necessarily kill off the monsters, but I think they're trying to reduce it without the issue of factionization. Now, by factionization, that of course means putting a bunch of monster cards, Colossus, Moth, etc. in different factions, in different categories. But I think with Sal Avoid You, you're trying to buff it to make it more appealing that monsters are supposed to be a pirate deck. And I think that's fine. Of course I'm not excited for Salahar Voyager into King Kaiju plays or Salahar Voyager into Kraken plays. But, it's sort of like that card where you're going to have to accept it in order to contain the bigger problem, that being all the different monster decks. People are still going to use those monster decks, but Salahar Voyager is going to probably be somewhat appealing, hopefully, because of that huge cost reduction. That's basically playing a free heavy hitter, a free Grendel, a 1 gold King Kaiju, possibly a free Kraken in the same turn. There's a lot of possibilities with the Voyager, and hopefully that could just expand pirate monsters and maybe lower the use of what we see elsewhere. Freeze monsters, last will monsters, all these different types of monsters. Anyway, now moving into probably one of the most hated changes of the patch, the Dragon Lore. Oh, hello, where am I going? Now it gives your opponent 2 cards instead of 1. Now you're really sort of hitting this draw card hard. You're trying to illustrate that if you play this card, you are also giving your opponent the upper hand, not just you. I always thought that the Dragon Lore was sort of a risky card to play because I never liked giving my opponent any sort of draw or any sort of free card. So Dragon Lore was sort of like, if I had to use it, fine. But I really tried to opt not to play this, either going Shaman books as my main source of draw for any deck. And now I think people are going to start to see that more because giving your opponent 2 cards is really sort of... For 1 gold, you're basically giving both you and your opponent an extra advantage by giving them 2 more cards. So with this, it's going to cancel out a lot of Dragon Lore. You're probably going to see less of it, hopefully. Well, not hopefully. Unfortunately, you're going to probably see less of this card being played just because no one likes giving your opponents cards, and let alone 2. That's just not worth the 2 draw. When you also have Shaman books, Crumple Archive, etc., it kind of just minimizes the chance that you'll see Dragon Lore even further. Anyway, moving on to Monster Tamer. Moving on, sound like a cow. But the Monster Tamer, cost reduced to 7 gold. All right, so you're also trying to push Last Will. This is one of those changes that could be seen as buffing both monsters and Last Will. I think what the idea here is that you're trying to keep monsters contained to the Crusader or Pirate factions, but you're also trying to buff Last Will by making the Monster Tamer reduce to 7 gold, meaning that you could see an Arcanon General and Monster Tamer, and then so this definitely makes Last Will a bit more appealing to me because I see the Arcanon General Tamer combo there. And I think I have a video on it. I think that was like one of the first combos I did when Arcanon War came out, but you know, I'm nervous because we're probably going to we might see Tamers popping up in nearly every Crusader deck. We may not. I don't know. It's still up in the air, but a cost reduced to 7 is something that we should probably watch out for, and something that maybe you know, personally I just may not be looking forward to. Possibly, we'll see. Because Last Will again isn't a popular archetype at the moment already, so we'll see. Moving on to Assassin. Assassin's stats have been reduced to 2-3. I'm sort of on and off about this change. You know, it's good that Assassin got reduced to 2-3. It's more easily removable. You got the Disintegrate now that can affect it. You got, well, the Incinerate that still works. You know, I think you're broadening the horizon of, you know, kill the Assassin before it strikes. And with 2-3, it sort of kills its positioning. You know, a Master Thief can take it out without dying to it. I'm trying to think of one. You can probably kill it with maybe a 1-2 unit spell combo. Well, that could always happen. But regardless, making the Assassin weaker, I don't know if that was the exact change to go with. It was fine where it is. People had to adapt to it. It was a challenging card. But again, a positive that you could take it out a bit more easily, just so you don't have to deal with the Assassin murder. So, now here's a change that I thought was the curveball in this, and I think what might be another push for another archetype. Search for Truth now draws 3 cards and permanently reduces the cost of any dragon drawn by 3. Very interesting change here. This is again the curveball of this whole patch. You know, we always see a couple things like, you know, I was expecting Sunflower to get hit, a Jera, which we'll go over next, we're gonna get hit. But this one, no one saw coming. I think this is their way of telling players, hey, maybe we're gonna try and push this one, try it out for a bit, and see how that works to try to counteract the monsters. And of course, it's definitely a good change. Permanently reducing any dragon cost is great, let alone drawing 3 cards and possibly having 3 reduced dragons. Going over the cost, you can have a 6-turn Yenaroth, a 6 gold Rakanoth, a 7 gold Dremoth, 3 gold Villaroth. You know, the possibilities are pretty endless. And of course, there have been those who have already started to set out and try out this Search for Truth buff and seeing how they can implement it in their dragon decks and see if it's worth if it's worth the effort to put in. If that makes any sense. Search for Truth just got a lot more powerful, and I think we might be seeing more dragon decks. I kind of blanked out for a second there, but yeah, we'll probably seeing more dragon decks with the Search for Truth buff, and overall it's pretty good. No burst dragons, so no double Aeroth Dremoth, or no double Aeroth at the same turn. You just got 3 cards, and whatever you got, you got. So, and then we move on to a Jera, Nalakira Jera. Monsters granted to each player is reduced to 1. Definitely something that needed to happen without completely killing off the card or changing its, in a weird way like you did with Sunflower. Now giving each player 1 sort of like means, alright, let's see what we each get and let's see how we can use it. Players won't be as afraid to play the monster, hopefully, that they get. And hopefully this means that Jera swarms, how they build up in your hand, that can end too, because 3 Jeras mean 3 cards in your hand. You can get that with like maybe 2 Jeras previously. Now you need all 3 just to fit 3 in your hand. So overall, I think that's a good change. You're kind of giving it the same ability as Sunflower, which is okay, but the cost is going to be a bit more, and you're only going to get 1, not 2, so that's good. And finally, previous event cards have been moved to the Arcanon War set and are now craftable at the same rate as normal cards. Great! This gives players who have missed out over the past several months to collect up on Sunflower, Assassin, Spiny, and I think, well, if you're not ranked 20, then War Elephant as well. Let me just take a look at some of these prices. Let's go to, so Assassin, 50-50, that's good. Spiny, 2 and 10, which is definitely worth it, I think, because Spiny's a great offensive 1-drop. And then, what was the other one? Ah, Sunflower. Back here, I think. Where is he? Oh, wait, no, he's 2 gold now. Why did I type in 3? There he is. 200 and 200. Okay, so that's fair for an epic. So, overall, that move to this set is pretty good. Hopefully, we see more of these event cards soon, because we have no idea where the bunny or this purple ghost is. Hopefully, they'll be making an appearance soon onto the scene, and hopefully they'll change things up. But regardless, that's all I have for this balance patch video. If you guys did enjoy the video, please make sure to like, share, and comment down below your thoughts on the changes that have happened in this patch. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. The support means so much to me, and all you have to do to show it is just press that subscribe button. So, with that being said, guys, until next time, stay gaming.